For my next value scale, I'm going to start with a little color blending. So that means I'm going to be using two color pencils to create my different values. Now the reason why I always start with the pressure value first is because pressure is important throughout all of your color pencil mixings. No matter which of these 7 value scale techniques you use or any other technique you may discover on the internet, no matter which one you use, pressure is always going to come into play with color pencil techniques. So this next one, I'm going to stay to the lighter end of my values, and I'm going to mix my color. I'm going to just use the same one with white. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You could start with a light layer of white down first and then cover it over top with a layer of red and then more white, or you can lay down similar to what we have up here and then put white over top. I'm going to do white down first, then pigment, then white again. So just like up here, I'm going to work with some light pressure. With colored pencils, if you remember from the videos, we know that they have binding agents in them, and a lot of them have wax. There are a few oil-based colored pencils out there, and I find in my experience that the oil-based ones tend to allow you to layer a little bit more than the wax-based ones. But either way, there eventually comes a point where you have so much color pencil down, other colors are not going to stick to or over top of it. So anytime you work with layering color pencils, mixing and blending color pencils, you want to keep that in mind. So it's always best to work with light layers and then to add more and add more and add more, instead of starting out with too much of your initial color down first, that it may inhibit you layering over top with a second color. And again, this also has to come down to your pencils too. Certain brands of colored pencil are going to layer better than other brands, and that depends on how much pigment they have in comparison to the other parts that hold the pencil pigment together, other binding agents and the wax or oil. So to begin, I'm going to start with a light layer of white, and then I'm going to add my color over top and then come back in with white. And again, I am using the circular shading technique, smooth shading. I've seen some people call it scumming. So already I notice a difference. I did start off a little bit too dark there. I lightened up my pressure even more. But notice, compared to just the pigment, the color pencil on white paper and the color pencil on top of a layer of another color, in this case white, notice that that pigment is a little bit brighter. It shows up more. Also notice that you can see my strokes a little bit easier because of this layer of pencil already down. This first layer of pencil has gotten into the nooks and crannies of our paper fibers, so it's already kind of created a little bit of a smoother surface, and that is why that is occurring. So I'm going to come over top of this now with white. White will help blend In fact, anytime you color one color pencil over top of another, it helps blend them out a little bit. But there are other agents that you can use for a very smooth texture in color pencil, but we're not working with that right now. So for each of these, I'm going to continue the same process. I'm going to start with a layer of white. I'm going to add my pigment color over top, in this case my 324 red color, and then more white. And I'm going to do that for each of my 5 values. And again, I'm going to watch my pressure. Okay, so that's the end of my 2-color value scale using my number 324 plus white, so for my next value scale, I'm going to use a color pencil, and now I'm going to try another neutral, and that will be black. So I'm going to use my number 324 again, and I'm going to be using it with black this time. And I'm going to do something similar as I did up here with white. I'm going to layer black and my number 324 red together to create another 5-step value scale. So there are probably a couple of possibilities here. I could apply the same pressure of red to all of my squares and then apply different pressures of black over tops, similar to like when you mix a shade of paint and you keep on increasing the amount of black you put into it. I could try similar to what I did with the white one here and apply black first and then just increase the pressure with my red to see what that looks like. Or I can do a combination, lighter pressure of black, lighter pressure of red, and increase the pressure of both as I go. So this is one thing about color pencils that is so interesting, is that there's multiple ways in which you can do color mixing, color blending, and create values. So I think for me, I'm going to see what it looks like if I apply a even layer of black down and increase the pressure of my red over top. So let me sharpen my red. And I'm going to try it with my black down first to see how well these colors go over top of darker colors. So looking at it, I don't hate it exactly, but I don't think the red color is coming through, and I think I want my color to be predominantly red. So I think I'm going to try the reverse, and I'm going to try it just here beside. So I'm going to try to figure out my lightest value in my value scale first. So I may do a couple of experimentations along this line, and then I think I'll come down here with whatever I decide to do to create my full 5-step value scale. So I'm going to try it with the red down first, and then layering over top with black. So I do like that a little bit better. I found that my lighter pressure of black applied didn't seem to grip as much as applying it first, but I'm still not sure it's giving me that red color I'm looking for. So I think I'm going to try maybe increasing the pressure of my red, make it a little bit more present, and then trying a light layer of black over top. So I do like the look of this one a lot better. I think my red color is coming through more than in the previous two tries. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down red first, and I think I'm going to start with a little bit heavier pressure of red than I normally do, and then let the combination of red and pressure and black and pressure create my value scale from light to dark. So I do have 5 different values, and I do think of the 3 ideas that I've entertained, this is one of my better ones. But there are so many possibilities when it comes to color mixing, so keep that in mind as we do these value scales and as we do any value practices. Our goal is anytime we practice value to eventually apply it to 3-dimensional objects to help us increase our ability to create depth, form, movement within our artwork. So I think I'm ready to move on to my next value scale exercise. So I want to make sure I label this one. Again, I used my number 324 plus black. And I'm just going to put on these ones that these were practice.